I don't think I need to walk in wearing the robe again, Lester. I did that last week. You think I should do it every week? No. I mean, the pomp and circumstance of that would just be too much. No, that's the name of the entrance music for the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah. Some people got it. No, they did.
What the hell is this?
I speak jive.
Will you stop?
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
They think they got the answers. I change the questions.
You don't like it? We don't care.
What a dumb thing to do. I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
Friends, welcome in. It is me, as Jason Nutt puts it, C from C. That, of course, means Colin from Canada, and that, of course, means Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk, episode number 19, aka 19. Do you know what 19 plus 1 is? Folks, I think you know where I'm going, and you can come along for the ride. Next week, as you know, what we do here on the show, Lester and I, is celebrate our anniversaries on the 10s. I've said it once before, and it bears repeating, so I shall. Already did, gonna do it again on the 10s. Did you guys enjoy Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk 10th Anniversary Extravaganza Spectacular? Well, as Gorilla Monsoon once said, batten down the hatches, because next week we're on the 10s, and it's the Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk 20th Anniversary Extravaganza Spectacular. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell the pharmacist, tell the bereavement counselor. Get them over here. Not here, but in front of your, wherever you view this. And indulge them in comedic, dramatic greatness. Not dramatic comedy, although it is. Could be comedic drama. Ooh. I'm making things up as I talk here. Dramatic comedy, I do like that. Comedic drama. Folks, it can go either way. That's how we roll here. I'm babbling. I'm going to bring it down a tone because that's next week, and we are focused on the present, and this would be episode 19. Okay? How are you guys doing? I hope everyone is well. Welcome into my little world as I pour my Diet Coke. Oh, we're going big time higher today. Yep. Out of the frame higher. Now let's put the top on and have it all mush out the no, we're good. No, you gotta wait for the fizz, the carbonation to lower itself, and then you shall place the top on and give the ceremonial sip, as we say here at Colin from Canada. No, we don't. But we're gonna start saying it. That was the ceremonial sip, people. You know? Guys, do I have to say it? Good coffee's always free. The pen is taped. The newest addition to the background is, of course, the AmCan connection. Are you sick of this friendship yet? Wrestling robe. This week, Castaway with Tom Hanks, again from my days as a video store boy. Good movie. I think people can either take it or leave it. I'm a taker. I'm a taker of it. If I could do a little preview of the program, I have found my kindergarten class picture with the Gorilla Monsoon look-alike. And I am torn both emotionally, physically, just that. Do I place the Gorilla Monsoon 5-year-old look-alike in the introduction to the Gorilla Monsoon quote of the week, or do I save it for the much pathetic, ill, what's the word I'm looking for? Empty camera roll segment? You're gonna have to stay tuned.
Bundy's going to work fast here.
Friends, there is a special place in the basement of my home where all of my collections live, and one day you will see it. One day. But until that day arrives, we are taking those items one by one and bringing them to my place of employment, aka the poker club, aka the babysitting arena of morons. Guys, it's 5 VHS from my collection. Luster's gonna roll the bumper, you're gonna sing along, and I'll be back in a flash. Power karate. Hunks with hats. Tai Chi for arthritis. Stretching to the classics. Friends, I told you I'd be back in a flash, and I am. Taking care of business, James Belushi and Charles Grodin. An unsung comedy of the early 90s, I want to say. I kind of rank this up there with She's Out of Control with Tony Danza and that gorgeous actress that was never in anything else. Some people saw it, maybe some people didn't. I was trying to get a year on this, but there is, funny enough, not a year anywhere to be found. We're going to press forward. We're going to push forward. Worth a viewing if you can get your hands on it. I don't know. I think this came out on DVD. I probably have it on DVD and VHS, because as we know, when I get the DVD, I do write down in a notebook that I have to get rid of the VHS, but sometimes I don't get rid of the VHS because they're in a 6-foot pile in my video room and I can't get to them. Taking care of business. Guys, this is still sealed, so it's sure to skyrocket in price. Vampire Cop. He takes a bite out of crime. How long did it take them to come up with that one? Okay, I think McGriff might have something to do with it. He's not happy with that, okay? Because I talked to him. The crime dog McGriff is not happy with Vampire Cop he takes a bite out of crime. Is that a lawsuit I smell? I'm gonna tone it down a notch, guys. Police officer Lucas likes to work the night shift. It's no coincidence that lots of criminals start turning up dead with bite marks on their necks. The city's reigning drug boss becomes the target of both Lucas and Melanie Roberts, the hot, blonde, and beautiful TV reporter. Lucas and Melanie become quite a team and soon become intimately involved. And everyone knows you haven't been sucked till you've been sucked by a vampire. Okay. Still sealed, Vampire Cop, 1990. Guys, it's Viper. This is an intense journey of survival and revenge. Somewhere between the CIA and the KGB is Viper. I was trying to tell if that was Candyman. I'm not sure. After pausing the video with my head behind the cassette tape, I've looked online if Tony Todd was in fact in Viper. He was not. But it is quite the Candyman look-alike. Can we zoom in there? I mean, come on, guys. You know I'm all about the look-alikes. I won't read this one because it's 80 million paragraphs, but that's Viper. It's from 1988. Terror in the Swamp. A lone airship glides peacefully along the smooth, unsullied waters of the bayous, but this tranquil scene will soon be shattered by a terror breeding deep within the Louisiana swamps. A living, breathing terror as massive and twisted as the mangroves and as vicious and carnivorous as the swamp alligators. The local authorities coordinate a desperate all-out offensive to rid the marshlands of this murderous force. But what they encounter in the dampest, darkest corners of the swamp is a larger-than-life horror, a wild mutant, a freak of nature, a grotesque half-man, half-beast lashing out with all the rage of a trapped and wounded animal. And from this, Terror in the Swamp, there is no escape. They really described the terror in the swamp here. That's 1984, 87 minutes. When you're done with the terror in the swamp, you're checking out the terror in paradise. Let me do it. It couldn't have been more perfect. Violet skies, warm turquoise seas, and a seemingly deserted tropical island, all to themselves. Yet amorous Jason and Vicky couldn't have chosen a worse place for romance, and they're hardly alone. In fact, Jason and Vicky discovered that the island is the secret location of an international terrorist group. What they see and learn makes them the target of these ruthless killers. Now in their fight for survival, all they have is each other. That's 1992. New Horizons home video. Guys, that's 5. And trust me, there is millions more to come. So as long as I have VHS, this segment won't die.
There's a collar elbow hookup.
Esther, as I warned the viewers last week, your wife had a bit of a dirty tongue, as I proclaimed last week, where I wasn't sure if dirty tongue was an actual term and still don't know. What I'm getting to is she had a bit of a case of the swear words. Had a bit of the case of the swear words. I'm keeping it. She said shit kickers is what I'm trying to say. After that, who knows what she's about to say? We're about to find out, because as you know, folks, and perhaps Lester, you know as well, she veers between topics.
You have no idea who knows me. I'm not the rancher. I got marbles here. I have 2 boobs, not 6. Do you know you have scratchy toilet paper? Now, here. All right, here's what we're doing. All right, Matt Hansen. When I submarine Smoyer, I did not get paid for that. I don't like a drunk. Now, I have no clue who's running, do I? No. How come? Because I don't care.
Friends, it's looking like another paltry collection of items gathered through thrift store visits this week and last. But I have told myself, if there is a piddly amount, which there is, I will vamp, much like I did 2 episodes ago, perhaps last episode as well, and tell interesting stories and anything that really comes to mind as I go through the items. Guys, it's time for thrift store pickups. John Dote Hit. Dote Hit? John Dote Hit. John Dote Hit. Dote Hit. John DeHurt. Friends, as promised, another paltry haul of items from the thrift store, if I may explain. Every Friday, I take Lynn Riddell, aka Queen Mama Canada, aka my mother, out for a coffee, and we go to the thrift stores as well. The last time I was with my mother, we went to 2 different thrift stores, and I bought absolutely nothing. That really helps with this segment. However, I push forward. I do venture to the thrift stores alone as well as with my girlfriend, and we did hit a few other thrift stores, and this is what I was able to pick up. Obviously, the more thrift stores I go to, the more likely I am to pick up good junk. Adjust the camera, didn't look right. So, let us begin. Let's start with the books. Mad Murders the Movies. This is something I really should have a list of, is my Mad paperback books, as well as my magazines, because you're going to start buying doubles, Colin. You know what I'm saying? Guys, remember what I told you. No matter how small the collection, it's going to grow. Keep a list. And this is one I should have a list of. Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone present the Keep of the Lich Lord. These are the more fantasy, advanced, choose-your-own-adventure books from when we were kids. I'm sure you guys remember these. That was at the thrift store. That's it for, no, one more book, The Family Guy. Any cartoon that I enjoy, if there's a book, you know, it's $20 when you buy it in the store. But at the thrift store, if done correctly, is only a couple of dollars. Those are the books. One DVD, the Bob Newhart Show, the complete series. Now, I am torn as a collector. And again, if there's ladies in the room, you might get a little hot and bothered when I start telling you about whether or not I want the actual DVDs or if I just download the video files and burn them to a blank DVD. What type of collection do I want? Ladies, feel free to chime in. Let's get back to it, guys. $15 for the complete set, the bonus disc, and a commemorative booklet. It's hard to pass that up when it's a 19 DVD set and it's only $15. But at the same time, I do already have it on blank DVDs that cost me nothing. So that's where I'm torn. Perhaps you guys can help me. It's not pertinent, but do ask the family what they think I should do. CDs. Orange House Sessions, fresh uplifting fresh uplifting vibes from the dance floor. Again, house electronic music, 18 million artists I've never heard of. It's good to delve into that. You might find a couple of tracks you enjoy. Same thing here, by the same record company, same type thing, best of artists I've never heard of, but we can check out, see if there's something that captures my ear. Now, again, with the price tag that was stuck to my finger, the Time Life collections, you know, we've talked about this before. This is the singers and songwriters 72 to 73. So I am to assume that there is a singer and songwriters collection, and this is just 1972 to 73. But all original tracks, it's a double disc. You know, Jim Croce, Carly Simon, Bill Withers, Todd Rundgren, John Denver, Cat Stevens, that's, you know, Carole King, that's the like there. And $1, come on now. Aretha Franklin, 30 greatest hits. All of them are on here. And both discs were in there. You guys, I don't need to tell you, much like the board games, check for all the pieces. CDs, check to make sure the CDs are in there because they actually put them out without checking. Trust me. There's nothing better than seeing that VHS or that DVD or that Blu-ray or that CD. Oh my God, I never thought I'd find it in the thrift store, and then you open it up and it's absolutely empty. You know what I'm saying? The worst. These are not empty. And please forgive me if I butcher the name. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, okay? Those Pearl Jam fans, specifically Eddie Vedder's solo work, specifically on the Dead Man Walking soundtrack, it has Face of Love and Long Road, which are tracks that Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan did with Eddie Vedder, and they are absolutely spectacular. This has nothing to do with Pearl Jam. This is just his solo, his own CD, as well as his own CD, I believe, remixed. So I'm excited to listen to both of those. 5 minutes on a paltry amount of thrift store stuff and a little bit of story time. Guys, that was this week's thrift store pickup and rambles.
Punk is a wild man. He could well be the most dangerous man in the World Wrestling Federation.
Friends, when you are involved in the cutthroat world of news reporting, it's all about firsts, okay? The first video of a story, the first photo of a story, the actual story itself, who is first to break the story. You know what I'm getting at. In the news game, firsts is key. And when there is a tragedy or a murder or anything of newsworthiness, the people want to know the names involved. Who did it? Who was the victim? You get what I'm saying? When air disasters happen, all the news outlets are scrambling to get facts, to get information, to be first. When a catastrophe like an airline disaster occurs, families are distraught. Was my loved one on that flight? I need to know the names, but not just the names of the victims. We need to know the names of the pilots of that flight because they have families too. And one news organization was first.
Done something that is very good.
He was murdered,
but now he's dead.
Reach out to the man who died.
Do the math.
Your mama, she's for free and everybody knows it.
We have new information now also on the plane crash. KTVU has just learned the names of the 4 pilots who were on board the flight. They are Captain Sum Ting Wong, Wee Tu Lo, Ho Li Fook, and Bang Ding Ao. The NTSB has confirmed these are the names of the pilots on board Flight 214 when it crashed. We are working to determine exactly what roles each of them played during the landing on Saturday.
Friends, by now you will all know, I mean, it's episode 19, you have to know by now that my father, John Riddell, is in fact a living legend. We know this. I've repeated it 19 times. So you guys know I don't have to tell you. The fashion sense is there. It's clear. Taste in music, check. Ability to follow a recipe, debatable. But one thing is for certain, we like to take the dog out. That's a great segue. Part of the daily routine helping out with the folks is taking the dog for a walk, and Johnny and I get in the Mercedes-Benz that he loves more than life itself, and I want to throw off a cliff. Anywho, we have parks around the Mississauga area that we go to, and this is us returning from one of those parks, and Johnny has decided to go with the hat backwards. Let me know what you think.
How much is in butter? How much is in butter? How much is in butter?
John Riddell, hat backwards. And associate. Hat backwards. Yeah, buddy. Friends, if you remember at the top of this very episode, I mentioned to you a bit of a tease that would be found somewhere throughout this episode. That, of course, being the 1984 kindergarten class photo of yours truly and the 5-year-old Gorilla Monsoon lookalike. I am introducing camera roll. Will this photo appear in the camera roll, or will it appear in the Gorilla Monsoon introduction to Gorilla Monsoon quote of the week? Guys, you're gonna have to stay tuned because right now it's camera roll. And will it be there? Lester, what do you think? It doesn't matter. Dry cleaning movies, mushrooms on toast. Just a couple of horses' asses. Electric pressure cooker, urinating passion fruit chest cake, Charles Barkley. Friends, the segment that was knocking on death's door. I almost said that was at death's door, but it was knocking. It wasn't just at death's door. It was knocking and asking to come in. That's how close it was to death. But mouth to mouth resuscitation was given, and it lives. Guys, let me just get to it. It's time to go through my camera roll. Let's go through my camera roll with 5 exciting photos. Not really, but some interesting backstories from this mouth will make the photos more interesting. You guys know. Photo number 1. I mentioned this briefly last week about why you should tune in this week and anticipate the camera roll. The girlfriend and I attended the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Philadelphia Phillies baseball game on Wednesday, June 4th. And our first photo will be our seats. Very nice, very nice. There's the really, really good seats kind of around home base. And then we were 17 rows behind that. So pretty cool stuff. That's our view from our seats. Photo number 2, those who are diehard Toronto Blue Jays fans will remember Rance Mulliniks. He wasn't the star of the team, but he was a veteran that stayed with us for, I believe, 9 years. And he was a great utility player that perhaps didn't get the recognition he deserved. And the fact that someone was actually wearing his jersey, yes, I had to run over and zoom in and get that photo for not only my friends, but for this show. Now, the main focus of this week's Let's Go Through My Camera Roll and the tease cliffhanger from last week is this story that I'm about to tell you as well as act out. Folks, I'm gonna stand, so be ready. Bryce Harper was at the plate in the top of the 6th inning. He's a left-handed batter. So we were taking keen focus on the left-handed batters, my girlfriend and I, because we were looking for the coveted, never-before-gotten foul ball. So as he is in the batter's box, he takes a swing, and it goes rogue. It goes airborne, and it's coming towards us. And it's all happening so fast, so I'm going to give you the play-by-play of exactly what my brain was thinking. I start to think, no, it's going to be too short. And then I started thinking, no, it's going to be too long. And I stood up. Now, let me say this. The 200 level, which is, the level above us, the balcony was right above us. So as you know, when you watch ball games or when you're at a ball game and the ball goes to the 200 level or the level above the level below it, you know what happens. Buddy bobbles it and it falls down into the level below. So, as the ball is coming, I stand and I thought it's gonna go over above me and it's gonna come down. This is a flattering shot of my carcass. It's gonna go up and come down again, so I don't have to stand anymore. You get the picture. So I stood up and I'm looking up, waiting for it to come down off the 200 level. It's not coming down off the 200 level. And I turn to the guys behind me and they're all doing this, which means nobody caught it. I immediately look down, reach over, and the foul ball is there and it is mine. Should I have brought the foul ball in to show you? That would have been a good idea, Colin. But it's photo number 3. That is the foul ball that we didn't catch, but we obtained. Folks, the story gets better as we push forward. I am sitting there jazzed about getting a foul ball, and to my left, my girlfriend is doing this. Her hand hurts, so I don't say anything, and then she keeps doing it. And I said, what's the matter? And she says, whenever you were doing whatever you were doing, I almost caught the ball. So the ball went off my girlfriend back there, rolled down, and that's how I grabbed it. Had my girlfriend have caught the ball, I would have gone absolutely berserk. That would have been so awesome. Okay, I veered from I gotta figure out where we are in the photo number 4. That's the foul ball story. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that, but I should have brought the foul ball next week, just for shits and giggles. Photo number 4 is a tree. You're gonna love this one. As you learned in the John Riddell Legend segment this week, you know that John and I take the dog out every day to a local Mississauga park for a walk, and for John and I to take in the nature, whether it be the birds or the animals that we encounter, we like to keep a keen eye on everything around us to see if we see anything different than the usual duck, Canada goose, swan, or seagull. And we saw a Baltimore oriole. That is something I don't think I've ever seen, and it's quite rare to come across in these parts of the province. And we tracked it down to a tree, and I ran over because I wanted to get a photo of it. Folks, I was literally under the tree, and all I had to do was look up and take a photo. And not only did I mess it up with this shot, let's go to photo number 4B, I missed it again. I'm thinking I'm getting great shots of this Baltimore oriole. We get home, or to the car, and nothing. No one takes a photo like Colin when he's standing under the thing you have to take a photo of. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I think when I zoom in, I lose all my bearings. Okay, that is photo number 4A and 4B, the Baltimore oriole that is not in either one of those photos. Let's finish it off with photo number 5. Just a great photo of me in an undershirt walking with Johnny and me carrying the dog because Pixie has gotten tired of walking and peeing on everything 10 inches at a time. That's how he goes 10 inches, has to pee on something. 10 inches, and he pees on again. Then he conks out and I have to carry him. Guys, that was Let's Go Through My Camera Roll. 5 photos.
Devastating backbreaker.
Friends, as I proclaimed in the introduction to the Ray segment last week, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. It's a mystery and it hasn't been solved. It only deepens. Friends, allegations on both sides that from the city council and from Ray. Ray claims a letter was sent. City council claims it was not. And as we left off, Raymond claimed that the letter was on a official city council letterhead. Get the popcorn, butter in the middle, then more popcorn, then more butter. When in doubt, if your theaters have that push button fake butter thing, put your straw in the middle of the popcorn, put the butter through the straw, and then slowly take the straw out, evenly distributing the butter throughout your popcorn. Little tips and tricks before we hear from Ray. Lester, can we hear from Ray?
Raymond Lyman, ridiculous. You calling me a liar? Well, I ain't gonna think about suing the city. Raymond Lyman, ridiculous. You calling me a liar? Well, I ain't gonna think about suing the city.
Well, that's very serious.
On city council
and they will be
letterhead.
arrested for doing that.
That's the question.
They will be arrested for fraud. And I will go
Because
right
I showed
to the
it to
magistrate.
I also showed it to my friend Dave, the state trooper. He thinks it's kind of suspicious.
Yes, I think it's very suspicious.
Because
no letters go out of city council stationery unless Mrs. Garvey types them.
And it was typed and signed.
Friends, if I could get serious for a moment. An apology is needed to you regarding last week's segment, Deep Cut Deep Dive. As you may very well remember, we covered Three's Company. And in my haste to perhaps move the segment along quickly, I was under time constraints. No excuses, I know that, Lester. Pushing forward. I forgot one key element to the overall success of the sitcom Three's Company. I am speaking of one Gino Conforti. For those of you who may not recognize that name, how about I drop some science on you? How about I drop some Felipe Gomez? Was forgotten in last week's Deep Cut Deep Dive. I would like to apologize to him and his immediate family. He's still alive. He's 93. God bless you, sir. Felipe, never forget. Guys, it's time for this week's Deep Cut Deep Dive. Lester didn't know what clips to take from the Deep Cut Deep Dive, so instead, Colin from Canada is singing over this bumper. I assure you, this is real. Friends, it is time for the Deep Cut Deep Dive, and we are diving into a 1980s movie that some of you will know, some of you won't. It's what I believe to be a hidden gem of a 1980s movie in the comedy category. Folks, I'm talking of the 1987 classic 3 O'Clock High. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Folks, if you know, you know. The embodiment of good junk, okay? Available for rent or buy on the streaming services, but I don't think it's free on any of the streaming services. Again, I will put up the Colin from Canada. If you don't want to buy the movie and you don't have it, Colin from Canada will send it to you, guarantee. Does that roll right off the tongue? Yes, it does. Folks, if you want the movie and you don't want to rent it, you don't want to buy it, I will send it to you in a lovely little envelope. It'll cost me nothing. I can make copies, and it will not be a video file. It will be an actual DVD because I own the actual DVD of this movie. I'm going to try not to even look at that screen over there, and I'm just going to go off the top of my head because I love this movie. And let me tell you why I love this movie. I love a movie that takes place in one day. I do. Off the top of my head, Do the Right Thing, Dazed and Confused, Die Hard, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Friday, The Breakfast Club. Now, we could maybe several days, 2 days, Stand By Me. You know, you get what I'm saying. 3 O'Clock High is the one-day movie. Casey Siemaszko, I'm gonna mispronounce that, but teen actor from the 80s, was mostly in the background with the gang of guys. He's in Stand By Me. There's another one he's in, but I can't think of it right now. He is I wouldn't say the high school nerd. He runs the school store. His best friend is the editor of the school newspaper. Perhaps maybe he's a little bit of a nerd. He's obviously not the most popular dude in school, but it's just a regular day, and a new student has arrived at the school named Buddy Revell, and he has a reputation the likes of which Charles Manson would be jealous of. And it's his first day at school, and wouldn't you know it, Jerry Mitchell is picked to write an article about him for the school newspaper. And let's just say the introduction doesn't go very well. And the myth that accompanied Buddy Revell to the school is not exaggerated. And before you know it, Jerry has gotten himself into some hot water, and Buddy Revell wants to fight him at the end of the day at 3 o'clock. Hence the name of the movie, 3 O'Clock High. So that's all I'm going to tell you, but it's one day in the life of this dude who starts off his day being challenged to fight a Charles Manson-like mythic legendary figure that all the high schools talk about. And his approach to having that not happen. Jeffrey Tambor is in it. Yardley Smith, who is the voice of Lisa Simpson, is in it. The guy who played Bookman on Seinfeld, the detective who came after Jerry when he had the overdue library book, I'm going to have to turn to get his name because it's driving me nuts. Philip Baker Hall. He was also in Magnolia. Anyways, he's in the movie. So 3 O'Clock High. If you don't have it, I will send it to you. There's the email. Write me an email and tell me you need this movie, and I will send it to you free of charge, guys. That's the kind of service that I provide. I, of course, being Colin from Canada, and this, of course, being Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk. Folks, that was this week's Deep Cut Deep Dive. It's 3 O'Clock High. And the one-liners. The one-liners are amazing. Are amazing.
Brilliant move on the part of Hernandez.
Friends, we're going for shortest intro to a segment. I have no idea what this clip is going to be, but this is this week's clip of the week.
When things aren't going my way, I'm thinking pasta. 2,500.
Here's the VHS collection.
Your Construction Safety Association.
Friends, if I may, I have found it. Just trying to get behind it. Yeah, there it is. I have gone into the Riddell family archives and I have sifted through painfully embarrassing, sweaty school photos, and I have found my kindergarten class picture. You've been waiting for this, I know you have. Folks, let's put it up. I need to see it. Yeah. After briefly pausing the recording because I've realized I don't have the photo to look at and talk about, I have it over here now. Let's go to the right, guys. You know how we do it. This is the 1984 Queenston Drive School kindergarten PM class. That's right, we were the afternoon, half day. That's how we roll. And I'm not going to go too crazy because this is just the intro to the Gorilla Monsoon quote of the week, but can you find Colin from Canada in this picture? We're going to get to him in a second, but let's go to the first row all the way to the right. The last two gentlemen are my best buddies growing up on the mighty Freeport Drive in Mississauga. That is the funniest person I have ever met in my life, Pat Hogan. And then at the end with the bow tie is Chris White. Both these gentlemen grew up with me on Freeport Drive in Mississauga, and we remain friends to this day. I got to speed it up. Let's go to the middle row and let's go to the first photo. It looks like he's wearing some sort of racing uniform with the STP patch and the Canadian flag. That is Colin from Canada with a lovely head of hair that soon disappeared 30 years later. But that's not who we're focusing on. We're focusing on the top row, dead middle. Please and thank you. Can we zoom in? For the life of me, I can't remember his last name. I believe his first name was Robert, But if that doesn't look like a young Gorilla Monsoon, as I zoom in really, really closely here, hopefully I'm doing that in the edit, it just looks like Gorilla Monsoon to me. Which means it probably doesn't look like Gorilla Monsoon to you. Guys, it's time for this week's Gorilla Monsoon Quote of the Week.
Did you see that? Couldn't see it from our vantage point. Will you stop? All kinds of pandemonium broken loose here.
Thanking the man upstairs.
Big right hand to the jaw.
Friends, there is an upset in the making. The reigning champion, Abdullah. Only 2 or 3 title defenses in. Folks, he's on the ropes. And if he falls down, much like King Hippo in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, he's not getting up. Fun fact, when I was a kid, you have to hit the mouth and then the belly, King Hippo. I didn't know you had to hit the belly. So me and my buddy Ben, shout out if you're watching, Ben, would hit the mouth and nothing else, and we would try to beat him like that. Folks, it's time for show and tell. Delta Force Pizza. Delta Force Pizza. Friends, I feel like Lord Alfred Hayes at the beginning, and then Mean Gene Okerlund at the, then Craig DeGeorge at the WWF Magazine Update segment on WWF Superstars and Championship Wrestling and Cavalcade and Challenge and every wrestling show that they showed it on. The update portion of the show was when you really got the inside gossip and you thought something was really going to happen instead of just watching Greg Valentine take on Reno Riggins. The storyline was pushed forward at the update segment. You guys know what I'm talking about when the WWF Magazine came flying in? Okay, again, caffeine has been taken orally. In fact, guys, let's get to it. What I'm saying there is I'm comparing my role in announcing the show and tell poll to the role that Lord Alfred Hayes, then Mean Gene Okerlund, and then young phenom Craig DeGeorge had on the WWF Update segment where they had the, I gotta pause here because Jason, my tag team partner, is messaging me. Hold on! Folks, anytime you can promote your tag team partner, you keep it in the video. Okay, back to the matter at hand, folks. Turning to my right, you know how I do it. The poll stands as this. The reigning champion, Abdullah the Butcher, figure and blood variant, taking on the challengers, Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman. Folks, we are in the midst of a small upset. Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman lead the madman from the sedan, 7 votes to 5. But there is still time. It is Thursday, 2:57 in the PM, June 12th. Still time to vote because this episode will most likely be appearing tonight. So I say that there's time for the guy that's losing to come back and win, and they never do. So we're going to assume that Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman will take the victory, and the moment as I clear a path for the item, the moment everyone is waiting for, the challenger still with the price tag on it that I paid for this lovely item probably, 20 years ago, the Albert Einstein action figure. Folks, I know what you're saying. If Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman become the champions, we could describe them as the tag team champions, but champion, nevertheless, of Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk Show and Tell Weekly Poll. It will be a handicap match going forward between those two and Albert Einstein. Is that a fair fight? Folks, I think it is, because beneath the hair that is really looking odd, because it's supposed to be all, sticking up, beyond that is the brains of probably the greatest thinker of our time. Do you think he can outsmart the likes of Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman? Jerry Lawler, maybe. Andy Kaufman, that's another story. It would be a good fight, and a fight that I would pay money to see. I mentioned the price tag. Can I show you how much I paid for it? 99 cents in 05, possibly 06. I think it's 05. But there it is, folks. Released by Accoutrements, Outfitters of Popular Culture. Accoutrements. That's one of my words I use here on the channel. Accoutrements. I don't know much about them, nor does probably anybody, but that's the back of it. You know, you get the blurb and all the information that, yeah, he's a smarty pants and E equals MC squared, and you know what I'm saying. And it has Einstein quotations. The value of achievement lies in the act of achieving. Yeah. Clean laundry will appear after laundered. I can do it too, Albert. Guys, I'm drifting. That is the challenger. It looks like it's going to be Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman. Vote now. Vote now.
Good teamwork. I'll give him that.
The most difficult introduction I have to do, funny enough, is for the bloopers. I feel the spotlight of hilarity shines into my eyes, stunning me, forcing me to be funny, because the bloopers are funny. But then Colin from Canada just has to tell himself the whole goddamn episode is hilarious, not just the bloopers. You gotta be funny for every introduction. Then Lester will roll the bumper for the bloopers. What am I doing? Gotta stop saying, What can I tell you? Try again, son. What am I, deep in thought up in here? That's here nor there. You are actually laughing? I don't need to... It's me. Spend the... Lester, as I warmed my viewers and cuddled them in my bosom and gently rubbed their shoulders, they were warm enough to proceed further, delving deeper into my mind and my show. I need to get to my notes here where I wrote, yes, there it is there. Not much like, introduction. I proclaimed the time of the episode. When you're doing friends, you start strong and then you fade, Colin. Add a bit of I get the foot. Nope, that is Jimmy. Do I? I do not. And I will give it some extended, long, asinine name like I did for the Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada. I didn't think so. You gotta come with different little, whatever the hell this is that I do, talking to you off the top of my head to start the show. That's what you gotta do. I get my foot unwedged from my chair. I proclaim much one by one and bringing to, and we are taking those items when we hit something, when, you know what happens, and you know what happens here on the channel. I've said it before once, you guys remember. Oh, God, Cheryl says you look good in green. Well, you hang in there, I gotta get back to the people. Guys, it's in my brain, out of my mouth, and into this world. Hi, Colin from Canada. So I'm a world traveler of sorts? No, not really. Of oddities and ornaments. One day living in a small town. It's not, the hell's, everybody listening, a wealth, don't have it yet. Sometimes I can crack my neck.
Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'll tell you, in my opinion, I still think the Brain was the shoe-in for Manager of the Year.
Well, he didn't get it.
Friends, we've come to the moment in the episode where it is usually a gloomy time for both me and Lester. Some say a pity party. Some say a dramatic, emotional upheaval of emotions inside me and Lester. And I could agree with that. At times, this is a trying period in the episode. A heartfelt opening of the chest to reveal true feelings on how the sponsorship is going. A brave face has been put on, and I am pushing forward. Lester, you know it. You're doing it too. I see the brave face you're putting on, but I tell you, I can't take my eyes off that green sweater. Folks, we've decided we is a cooperative we between Lester and I. We've taken our sights over the horizon to an untapped plethora of riches awaiting us to dive into, much like Scrooge McDuck. Let me explain what the hell I am trying to say. There is an unsung hero in the television world, and it bleeds to YouTube. We have been turning a blind eye, perhaps this eye, to the merits of the public service announcement. Is the smile that's on my face a reflection of the smile that is on yours at this very moment? Answer me now, because you know I can hear you. The public service announcement is now a brave and extremely proud partner of Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk. May the life of that relationship live on forever. Best case scenario, more than 7 days.
You ever had India food?
Will you please stop?
Catch it.
The Empire of Taste. Will you please stop?
Catch it.
Warning signs of satanic behavior may be apparent, such as a sudden, bitterly antagonistic attitude towards family and religion, listening exclusively to heavy metal rock music, almost to the point of addiction. When one or more of these warning signs are evident, you should look further for ritual items such as a pentagram or other satanic symbols, black or red robes, a decorative dagger or knife, a chalice or goblet, black candles, a personal diary with a black cover, which is called a Book of Shadows, and copies of publications such as the Satanic Bible and the Satanic Rituals, and possibly a small makeshift altar. If you discover items such as these, experts advise you contact your local law enforcement agency at once.
Hark! Do I hear the violins in the distance? Or perhaps 25 meters away? No, I don't. Guys, it's time for the goodbyes, and the somber tone of violins would have been nice, as that is what happens when we approach the goodbyes. I should rename this segment the goodbyes and the thank yous, because as always, I thank you, the viewer. If you are watching this far, you have been through one hell of a roller coaster ride of dramatic comedy or comedic drama, as we coined this week, guys. Both. Thank you for tuning in. I have some, what do they say? Some what is it? The laundry, some stuff I have to get to, some clean, no, it's coming, I'm gonna get to it. I can't stop recording. House cleaning. I knew I'd get there. I have some house cleaning to do. That, of course, is stuff I would like to cover. We have hit 80 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Pat yourselves on the back, because it's all about you guys. Because if you tell someone, and they tell someone, and they tell someone, much like a pyramid scheme and or cult, I will become famous. But it starts with baby steps. And 80 subscribers is definitely in the area of baby steps. Also, more housekeeping, not house cleaning, I'd like to get to. Next week, have I mentioned it enough this episode? I don't think I have. This is episode 19. If you add 1 to that and you move 7 days in the future, you will get 20, and not just 20. You will get Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk 20th Anniversary Extravaganza Spectacular. Folks, we have some things that we're going to have a new segment, especially for the 20th anniversary. There are, as Emmanuel Lewis put it in Webster, men's toes, mementos, that I would like to dig out of my area of collecting and collections. Some items that you'd like to see, I think. I don't know what I'm going to name the segment, but there's something I want to show you guys that you guys will really, I think, dig. Don't know what I'm going to call the segment. I'm going to call it Men's Down. We're going to call it Men's Toes, because let me explain deeper. For those who don't get the reference, in the seminal 1980s classic Webster starring the aforementioned Emmanuel Lewis, he was trying to say the word mementos, but he said men's toes. 4 mementos. I have several mementos in my collection at home that we are going to break out for the Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk 20th Anniversary Extravaganza Spectacular next week. And we're going to name the segment Men's Toes. I like it. And that could go forward as part of the slate of exciting segments that live here on the show. Colin from Canada's Good Junk. That's about it. Retro Ray, if you're watching, the package is going out. I didn't forget about you. I've accumulated the items. Some items you don't know about will be in the package going out to you this week, perhaps Friday or Saturday. Guys, that's it. I think we covered everything. I hope you enjoyed. There's a good chance, excusito, that this episode has gone over the 1 hour mark. Did it? Because that's going to be the time of the episode. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Make sure you tune in. Tell the family members. They might have missed the 10th, but they're not going to miss the 20th. The 20th what? Yes, that's right. Colin from Canada presents Colin from Canada's Good Junk 20th Anniversary Extravaganza Spectacular next week. Folks, I'm done talking. But remember, the pepperettes are a firm $12. There is no haggling. The paper rates seinen steifig $12 ein Aufdinger.
A chalice or goblet